Welcome to an episode of the Bullspodcast. I'm your host, K Dub Kenyatta Wright, and here's my co host, Mr. Kataka.
What's going on, Bulls fans?
Here, Kataka, we're going to break down a lot of the things that's been going on with the Bulls. We haven't been on air for some time now, so we have a lot to cover. A devastating season it has been as we go either to the playoffs or the off season. We're going to break down everything for you guys as much as we can right after this. The Bulls Guys podcast can now be heard on YouTube. Get all your latest news, debates, rants right here on the Bulls Guys podcast. So we're back here on the Bulls Guys podcast. At Kataka, earlier, we haven't done a show in some time. Me and you agreed that we was gonna try to hold off until the off season. After the devastating season that has been going on, the disappointing season, which was a step backwards after what we did last year. Mm-hmm. But Stacey King's podcast really made me want to come on here. He did this podcast on Sunday. He had Casey Johnson on, and they were discussing some things about the team and why AK didn't make some moves and why he didn't do anything at the deadline. And initially I was upset, and then I thought a little bit, and I'm like, I didn't want us to make a wrong move, and there weren't a lot of options, out there. Well, there was some options, but we don't know what the teams asked AK for. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we have to be strategic in what we're doing. And, listening to Stacey King and what he said about the ball movement and how, we have certain players on the team that slow up the ball movement. And while the other half of the team in the first three quarters is playing the right way, and then they come in the fourth quarter and these guys slowing down the ball. It's something I've been saying and pointing out on Bullseye and pointing out to you guys. And he snapped off above in my head and made me realize that Zach and Debo have to get traded from this team. And we have to kind of go back to playing the way we used to play, where guys are playing roles, back to the Baby Bulls days. Mm-hmm. And Zach's problem is he can't make shots in the clutch, lacks confidence, unwilling to be coached, getting mad at Billy Donovan because he got benched. And I heard that war is not over, as Zach still feels some type of way towards Billy ever since then. And then you have DeRozan doing too much, forgetting about his teammates and just taking the ball on his own shoulders and screwing up the ball movement and the chemistry of the team. So I feel like those two have to go. Vooch is a system player. He'll fit in where he can get in at. I don't see any other issues on the team with any other players. Ayo works extremely hard, plays great, plays good defense, moves the ball. Caruso and some of the other guys that we have are role fillers and do what they're supposed to do on the floor for the most part, don't hinder the offense. So it's just, I wanted to get in here and, just kind of talk about this because we haven't been here for the fans that, listen to our podcast in some time. And I just felt like this was a good time for us to jump in here and do a show, bro.
Absolutely, man. You actually brought up a great point, because I know last time we talked about this, we talked about, who should we trade? Should we trade Zach? Should we trade Debo? Should we trade Vooch? But you're right. I mean, you can actually – the Bulls are so easy to game plan against because everybody knows that, the ball is going to go through – Zach is going to go through Debo. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody know we don't have a point guard, and this brings it back to them addressing that in the off season. But they, for some reason, Bulls management felt that, hey, maybe Ayo, would be ideal, but Ayo is not ready yet. Mm-hmm. Goran Dragic, he even stated in a recent article in the Chicago Sun-Times that, yeah, due to his age, he understands he's limited, on minutes. Mm-hmm. So he knows that the first unit needs a true point guard. Mm. And, he even said it out of his own mouth. And, my question is that what guard help can we get? Yeah, I'm glad they didn't make a rash move because, like you said, we don't know what offers was thrown out there. I know the Bulls was asking for some first round picks. They was asking pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
For their guys, especially Caruso. But that's to the extent of what we know. I'm glad they didn't break up the team because I wanted them to make a move, but I didn't want them to make a huge move. I just want some minor moves, like get rid of some of these bombs on the bench. I mean, get rid of these Malcolm Hills, these Derrick Jones Juniors. Get rid of some of them guys because those guys are not really they ain't really helping us much. We can't go deep.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, they don't have value, and that's the sucky part about this team is that when you go past the 6 or the 7, man, we really don't have any value of our players. Um, but I think in the off season, I think they're actually going to address shipping Zach up out of there, and they might go back to New York, be like, hey, what are you willing to give up? I think Zach gonna be gone. I think they're gonna take a chance. I don't know if him and Debo gonna be gone, but I think one of those guys gonna be gone, and they want to re-sign Vooch to a contract extension, and Vooch want to stay here. So, like you said in the bullseye, only way I would actually want Vooch to stay if they got to have a rim protector. Because right now we don't have a rim protector. You got to have a power forward that's gonna balance out Vooch's weakness.
Well, you see in the
Pat,
past. Go ahead.
no, I'm just saying Pat Williams. I don't think he's a rim blocker.
Nah,
I mean, he needs to.
he's an
If
on-ball
he
defender. He's not a shot blocker.
exactly, I think he really either need to go to his true position, a small forward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want him doing. He don't necessarily have to come off the bench, but if you find somebody out there that's better, by all means. But he needs to go back to his true role.
I think there's been a lot of talk about Russell Westbrook possibly joining the team when he's bought out from the Utah Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
But me personally, at first I was like, I was flip flapping with the decision. At first I was like, no, based on what he did with the Lakers, and I'm like, hold on, wait a second. And you seen that post I posted on Bullseye Kataka about, past Lakers players playing with LeBron and not, getting in the mix when they play with him, and then when they go somewhere else, they play well.
Mm-hmm.
But based on the way I want this team to play, and based on the way Stacy broke it down on his podcast, I don't know if Russell Westbrook will be the right fit for this team, man. I need somebody that is going to be a plug to the system and is going to run the system the way it's supposed to be run until I need them to shoot the ball and dominate the ball. And it seems like Russell Westbrook has a problem with that. That has nothing to do with the Lakers. He played like that everywhere he was. He likes to
Mm-hmm.
shoot the ball. He likes to run down the floor and just take the first shot that he sees instead of looking at the entire floor. And I don't think that kind of offense is something that we need. I think that's aggressiveness that we need from an elite scorer to score down the stretch when we need buckets, but not 24/7. I think they need somebody more settled. Um, Derrick Rose, I would definitely bring back, just to add more spark to the city. The fans really love him. They want him back.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like adding a Russell Westbrook, I don't know if that's a good decision. Not to say he's a bad player. It's just certain players don't mix with certain systems.
Yeah, and a lot of people. I've been reading a lot of articles. A lot of people feel the same way you do.
Mhm.
I mean, I think that Billy Donovan he did go out there and actually reached out to Russell's camp. Trying to get him to come because, of course, he coached him.
Mhm.
So he's just trying to. I mean, it's gonna sell tickets. You know what I mean? I can see Bulls trying to do that move. But the question is, will Russie really want to come here? Two, I heard that the Bulls reached out to Patrick Beverly in his camp.
Mhm.
He a West Sider like myself from my area. He a local guy. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
he'll bring that toughness.
Mhm.
But is he gonna be a fit? I mean, the options are actually kind of limited. John Wall is about to has gotten bought out, but he got a history of injuries. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So I know we kind of limited. We need a temporary fix, at least to get us to to finish the season, whatever 20 some games that we have left. I don't know if we're gonna go to the postseason, but we need a temporary fix. So if not Russell, who would you think would be a temporary fix? Because I don't think Derrick Rose gonna get bought out. I think him and Tibbs got that marriage on lock, and I think gonna try to stay there.
Right. Offhand right now, I couldn't tell you. I would have to go through the list and see who's available. Um, Russell Westbrook would be the sexy pick to take
Hmm.
based on his name and his capabilities. A triple double king. Everybody knows Russell Westbrook's resume as far as what he's achieved, and to add a player like that to this team, the excitement would build. But I'm looking at the actual fit and the result of adding a player like that, not just looking at the appeal side of it. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
I think the Bulls really have to build a team like the Baby Bulls. They have to go back to those ways. But the problem is the coach that we have and the moves that the general managers of the Chicago Bulls are making to appease this coach. I don't think his
Hmm.
system is good for this team. I think they need to go to something that is more traditional where guys play a role. I feel like Billy Donovan can't coach big men. He can't
Nah,
coach every position. If you're not a shooter, he can't do nothing with you.
right.
And I just don't want to I don't want to be Golden State 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever, because the Bulls, I think, is a bad version of Golden State.
Hmm.
Um, I would go get Wiseman, man. I would try to make a deal for Wiseman in the offseason and add him to the team. But that's not a deal that they probably would make because they're not big on big men, but they need to get there. That's the point. That's what's wrong with this team. And and AK and the fans can look down on Zach and DeRozan, but a lot of them co-sign those moves.
Yep.
Now, when they're getting the results, they don't want them no more. But I said it from the beginning. Why would you have two ball dominant guys? Then when we had the Johnsons here, AK
Hmm.
chose to get rid of them and fill up the team with D leaguers who were guards.
Hmm.
And they tried to just turn this into like a fast-paced offense with just guards, and it didn't work. So now they have
Right.
to look at that and evaluate that and say, all right, plan A didn't work. Now let's go to plan B. So plan B has to be something way, way different than what they've been trying to do in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think AK, even though he ain't gonna come out and say it, I think he realized that he screwed up
Mm-hmm.
big time. You know what I mean? But he won't admit it. That's why his press conference was kind of boo boo. Like, yeah, I want to stick with these guys and see what they're made of. See how they play. But we already know because we dealt with this for the past 2 seasons. We know what these guys capable of because it's practically the same team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Another question is what they're gonna do about Zoe. I know they're supposed to, speak on that sometime after the All Star break. I think they're supposed to mention that, he's gonna miss the rest of the season, but he's supposed to be available if they make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna, you know, put my eggs in that one basket, but like you say, this dude got at least another what, 2 or 3 years left on his contract.
Mm-hmm.
If this, they need to find out, hey, this guy, are you gonna be able to play at all, or is your career pretty much shot? If your career pretty much shot, they're gonna have to just void his contract, and we just gotta move on from there. But back to the Wiseman, I wanted Wiseman so bad. I've been actually rooting for them to get him since last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Golden State gave him up for peanuts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we could have put any type of deal in there. You know what I mean? Could have got Wiseman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, man. Seeing some of these trades, man, around the league, man, I'm like, man, the Bulls could have put together some trades to get certain guys that were traded. There was one trade I saw that was so ridiculous, man. The Lakers when they got Mo Bamba, and I was like,
Yes.
man, the Bulls could have definitely put a package together to get him. But I don't know if AK really called Orlando, man. Like I said, I just, you know, um, told you, like this guy has not been big on big men, but he needs that.
Right.
I mean, look at the spark that Andre Drummond has given the Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know who suggested that move, but it was one of the best moves we made.
Right.
And he's one of those players that needs to be on the floor as much as possible. And when Billy Donovan finally giving him tick, man, look what he did. 21 and 15 off the bench.
Right.
I
So
mean,
just imagine if he was just in the starting lineup.
yeah,
You
man.
know.
And I was one of those guys that was on Andre Drummond from the jump. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Because we don't really go after big men. But I don't know. It's going to take a lot more than just an offseason to change this team around. Seeing the Orlando game yesterday, man, just disgusted me. Guys were just hustling like they didn't want to break a nail or mess up their hair like they were females out there. And Orlando players was just getting to the rim, and it just disgusted me, man. So this team, it needs a complete shakedown. I'm not saying blow it up. I'm saying tweak the major areas. You need defense. You need rim protection. You need perimeter guards that's going to guard shooters and force shooters that have a bad night.
Mm-hmm.
You need guys that can play in the post. You need guys that can play both ways, slow and fast. And we need a better coach, man. I'm sorry. Billy Donovan's not working out, man. I don't know if they're going to fire him to this game in extension, but is he going to finish out that contract? Personally, I wouldn't let him.
I think I know there's reports that came out he got an extension, but you know what? The Bulls didn't actually come out and said that they gave him an extension. I think they on a wait and see thing. You know what I mean? Before they actually make it an official. Because if you notice, it was just speculation from the media. You know what I'm saying? They didn't come out and say, yeah, we done gave Billy an extension. So I agree. It's gonna take a lot of balls to just some ballsy moves to go ahead and say, you know what, we really need to make some changes. So, I mean, if you can go in, give up Zach for, 3, 4, 5 players plus some draft capital, by all means, whoever throw you the best option, just go out there and just go with it because, you picking up some players, you know what I'm saying, but you're also getting rid of that big contract. So I say do it. You just don't be thinking about it. Just no hesitation.
I can't believe they didn't take that deal, man. 3 draft picks for Zach.
It was 3 draft picks. Obi Toppin.
I think Fournier was in there, right? And Derrick Rose.
Fournier was in. Derrick Rose was in that, and I think the Bulls wanted Quentin Grimes, but New York didn't want to give him up. I think R.J. Barrett was in there too.
Casey Johnson said there's no real evidence to that deal that actually was discussed. They said that was like a rumor or whatever, man. But if that really was proposed and they didn't take that, man, that was a mistake.
Right. I mean, that's one hell of a rumor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's probably some validity to that extent. Might not have been all them players, but ain't nobody just gonna come out with just some rant. Yeah, it was some validity to that. They ain't gonna say, but yeah.
Man, I don't even know why we're even right here, bro. Because after last season, I just envisioned us making an unbelievable jump. Adding the players that we added. I just thought it would be a different season for us, and I'm disappointed. I mean, of course, it's not over. It's 25 games left. I'm gonna tell you what. Washington has somebody tonight that they could possibly lose tonight. So they could possibly lose for the second straight night. I think they playing the Blazers or somebody like that. The Bulls need to get it together, man. They right behind Washington. Like I think they 1 game or tie with them to jump them for the 9th seed.
Yeah, we were like a half game. But I think when we lost yesterday, I think it was like a game and a half. So yeah, it's pretty close.
And they lost last night to Golden State, but we didn't gain any ground, but we lost.
Right. So it's like we're either tied or probably like a half a game. They probably got one up on us because I don't know if they beat us more. Yeah, it's close.
I don't think we beat Washington this year.
Oh yeah, then they got the tiebreaker. Then I mean they got the series so far. Then
I would have to check that. I don't know. I think we beat them in Chicago. I got to check that. But it seemed like to me, every time we've been playing them, they've been beating us.
Yeah, because Kyle Kuzma went off. I know a couple of them doggone games. He went off on us.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know, man. It's they got to get Dalen Terry some more tick. I'm glad they actually put him in because you can see how much of a difference maker. But I'm curious about what's going on with Javante Green's injury.
And he's another player that I want to keep on this team. See, here's the thing, Kataka. What we basically saying is that there's one thing that could help this team, and we wouldn't have to make any trades.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what that is? Accountability. We don't have a coach that's enforcing accountability on these players. If we had a coach that told DeRozan, if he's shooting a shot that he's not supposed to shoot, he's getting benched. Regardless if he get mad or not, because Zach got mad when he got benched. I don't care if you're mad. You're not
Right,
playing the way I need you to play. I'm gonna pull you. We
right,
need him to be doing that more often. He needs to be doing that because these guys are going out there playing the wrong way and doing what they want to do. All right, we're up by 10, so I can hot dog it a little bit. No, you need to keep running the offense the way we've been running it until the game is over. And that's the problem here. We need a coach to keep that shit in line. There's no
right.
way in hell we should have lost some of these games we lost this year, and we were up in most of these losses. That just tell me that there's no accountability, there's no consistency, no discipline in their offense. So you're
Right,
telling me in one half you know what to do, but you're not finishing and you're not doing keep on doing what you're supposed to be doing.
right.
How can you excuse that? You're basically showing me you know what to do, you're just not doing it, and that's the worst part of it all.
Yeah, they got them. They got the Bulls management got them. Like I said when we first started this year, they got them a yes man. I've been
Mm-hmm.
saying that since last season because you can tell. You can just tell by his way his press conference is going. But I think another thing killed him besides the lack of ball movement is when you up by 10 or more points, there's no need to shoot threes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I see Zach just chucking up shots, turnovers. As soon as you see that shit happen, man, call a timeout. Yank that dude out. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna sit you on the bench, because you costing us the game. He can help us or he can hurt us. Same
Mm-hmm.
thing for DeRozan. Everybody know his patent move. He gonna go to his spots and go to the middle, and he gonna pump fake.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean it's like that every single game. So and he's to the point right now. You guys are they arguing and with the refs and I mean, dude, he like you say, we need the right coach like Popovich or Doc Rivers that has no problem with pulling people to the side and put them and sitting them down.
I know the Bulls don't got the balls to do it, but I would take Udoka. They
I
probably don't
would
want the
too.
bad press because of what he did, but I don't give a shit about that, man. I would bring in Udoka. He has the proven history of making a team better, taking a
Right.
team nearly to the finals. Or did he get out? Hold up, he got him to the finals, didn't
Mm-hmm.
he? Yeah, so yeah, he did get him to the finals, and then this year was the new coach. So he has gotten the Celtics to the NBA finals. Listen, he has the track record. Listen, I don't give a damn about his personal life and what he did personally. You got to get
Right.
somebody that gives results, man. People don't like Chicago anyway, so why not bring in a coach that they don't like either? He's a perfect fit.
Right. I mean, they too much trying to have this goody two shoes culture, man. I mean, that's why people don't respect the Bulls to this day because they know they soft. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And we can't go in this having this mentality, big market like this, and people, gritty city. You get people think, oh man, the Bulls are soft. They
Mm-hmm.
coach is soft, management is soft. We can't have that reputation. That's not true Chicago Bulls
It's
basketball.
not. They don't give the city is right for representation at all.
Right.
Chicago is hard nosed city, man, and there's a lot of great talent that came out of Chicago. Anthony Davis, Dwayne Wade, the list goes on. Isaiah Thomas.
Hmm.
Chicago is one of the most iconic basketball cities, if not the best iconic city in the NBA. Why won't the NBA trophy come back to this city? It needs to be back. Ever since Jordan has left, it hasn't been back.
Right.
A lot of people call it the Jordan curse, if you will.
Now I don't think it's a Jordan curse. I just think it's the fact that Reinsdorf think he can always just build through a draft or get you some washed up players, just to sell tickets and put a team together. But that's not always the case. Sometimes you got like I don't know which analyst said. I think it was I don't know if it was Charles Barkley or somebody said if you want to build a championship, you got to go ahead and you got to spend money. Spend some money. Go on that luxury tax. You got to spend some money. So yeah, it's not the Jordan curse. You know what I'm saying? It's just that this dude. I mean, back then Bulls was cheap, but they lucked up and made some key trades when they traded and got Pippen. They traded Polynese for Pippen. You know what I'm saying? They lucked up by getting Michael Jordan. But even he had to suffer a season or two before he actually, started winning. They got Ballsy, they got Rodman in the trade. They went and got the best rebounder. They went on ahead and got a real coach after getting rid of Doug Collins. And then they got a whole bunch of role players. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do the same thing. Get you one superstar. And then get you somebody who's the best in the league and they role. Like you said, we're gonna need to go back to having our actual role, everybody knowing their roles, and just get you the key players, man. Get you a bunch of shooters.
And it's amazing to me how he sat here through those 6 championships and nothing clicked in his head about how a team is supposed to be built and the type of players you're supposed to add here.
Right.
And not only that, the will to win didn't bleed into his personality where he wanted more. Because I heard in that documentary, I want the 6 championships. So, yeah, I'm going to bring Jordan back. I'm going to bring the crew back because I want the 6. Okay, why is that hunger not still there to get number 7, number 8, number 9? Make Chicago the most winningest franchise ever. And show that you can do it without Michael Jordan. Since he walked out that door, you ain't won nothing. So if I was to talk to Jerry, I would say this, man, if you don't want to do it for the fans or you don't want to do it for nobody else, do it for yourself because you are known as an owner that couldn't win without Michael Jordan. So prove to me that you can.
Right.
And I don't mean just do it for a season or 2, and if it don't work, you go back to just lazy signings and, trying to save money. No, go in for the long haul and really try to push the issue that you want to win a championship.
Right. Well, I'm going to give the late Jerry Krause credit on that because Jerry Krause actually was the one that put that team together. You know what I'm saying? He was I think a scout for the White Sox too. So yeah, he had an eye for talent. We haven't had a GM is as good as he was since. You know what I mean? God knows as much people talk about Garden Pats. Yeah, they might have had a good eye for. It was like hit or miss with the draft picks because we done have some bogus picks. I'd be questionable, like the Marcus Teagues and all that.
Yeah,
I was kind of questioning it, but they did, get the Joakim Noahs and the Derrick Roses. So it's like hit or miss. So yeah, we just haven't had that ideal GM that has an eye for talent, but also know had the balls to go ahead and make some bold deals.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got, man. I'm airing out my guts as to, what this team got to do to get better, man. We're going to go for a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to close out the show right after this. It's the Bullspodcast. Follow us on all social media platforms. Show us your support. All right, back on the Bullspodcast. So, Kataka, we done spilled out our guts, man, and who knows what's going to happen with this team. But I'm hoping that we can make the playoffs at least. And if we don't make the playoffs, we looking forward to some off-season moves coming.
Yeah, I agree, brother. I'm just curious to see what's if Russell gonna sign this week because he's supposed to make his decision by this week, or it's gonna be Patrick Beverly. Hell, it may even be both. But the Rose that I know is gonna be missing some games because of that thigh injury.
Thank goodness. Maybe we'll see some team ball.
Yeah, I hope so. Hope Zach don't think he's gonna try to be Superman and try to do every damn thing. His handle's not the best. So we'll see, man. If this is the perfect time to get us a damn point guard.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Bulls fans, and letting us, express our frustration. I know you guys are frustrated at home. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Support the podcast. Still a new show. I'm hoping to grow, and we won't grow without you guys. Have a good night, Chicago. Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.